Hey, come here. Yeah, you, come here. Hey, so, I heard something about you. I heard you need an oil change? You do? Well, I'm Dion with DA3 Automotive. I can help you out with that. You can come visit my website, da3automotivespecialties.com, or you can stick around in this video and I could challenge you and teach you how to do it yourself. Alright, thanks for joining me today. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. So, first off, I'm working on a 2009 Toyota Rav4. This has a 2AZ FE motor in it, which is actually in a lot of different vehicles. It's in a Camry, it's in a Pontiac Vibe. I'll go ahead and put a list down in the description below so you guys can also, if you don't have this Rav4 but you have a different vehicle with this engine in it, it'll be the same exact process. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a few things that you might need first. Ta-da! Here we are. Here are some of the tools you might need. We got a 3/8 ratchet with a 14mm socket, or you can also use a 14mm wrench. I like using this setup because the long handle allows you to get some pretty good leverage in case the drain plug wants to be stubborn. We also have a funnel for adding oil. That's a filter cup with an extension. Underneath that is a rag to clean up any messes that might happen. You might need more than one, but if you do this properly, you should only use or need one. And then what's underneath is this container, proper oil disposal. Make sure you're doing this the right way. We all want to be environmentally conscious, so make sure that you're disposing of your oil properly. Most local parts stores like AutoZone or O'Reilly's definitely have a disposal center for you, so make sure you're taking it there and not just dumping it in your trash can. That's really the wrong way to do it, and you're gonna have some environmental issues on your conscience. Don't do that. To the right over here, whoop, what are these? These are drive-on ramps. This will make it a lot easier than having to jack up your vehicle with a floor jack and jack stands. This is more stable, and you kind of just drive it on as long as you know what you're doing or you have someone there to watch and guide you on. If you don't have any of these tools, I'll post a link below of where you can acquire these tools. Remember, anytime you go underneath the vehicle, you should be wearing safety glasses to protect your eyes. Right there we see the oil filter, and of course the 14mm drain plug right there. So now we're going to use that 14mm socket on your ratchet to loosen up the drain plug. Make sure you place the container underneath the drain plug so we can properly catch as much oil as possible so we don't get any of those chemicals into the sea where all of those lovely creatures live. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our filter cup while that's draining, kind of multitask, and you're going to spin it to the right to get it on there. Because then we're going to go ahead and go lefty-loosey here in a bit to break it loose. Now we're going to go ahead and use our 3/8 extension to reach up in there and turn it to the left. That filter cup needs to come off. And then we just go ahead and continue to spin our filter to the left with our drain underneath the oil filter. Again, we want to catch that oil safely. Good job. Once the filter is removed, you're going to want to clean off that gasket surface so we can make sure that the new gasket on the new filter seals. Wipe it clean with a rag or a paper towel, something to just make sure you're getting off the dirt and oil that was on there previously. This is good practice for any gasket surface to make sure that there's no remnants of old gasket or dirt that might prevent any proper sealing. That was pretty good. Alright, it's filter time. We got a Fram PH4386 for this vehicle. If you're using a Fram, you're going to want to put a little bit of oil on the gasket. Make sure it's not dry. When it's dry, sometimes you might risk having leaks and you don't want your oil to leak. So go ahead and spread a little oil along the gasket surface. You're going to also want to try to prime anytime you have an oil filter. It's good practice. Just try to pour it in there the best you can. It may not be perfect. It's best to try to fill it up all the way, but
anything's better than nothing. Alright, once you have oiled up that gasket and got the filter primed, you're going to want to go ahead and get it back on the mount. So go ahead and push it up in there, trying to keep as much oil in there as possible. The good thing about these frames is they have a little grip on it, so you can really grab onto it and get a good hand tight fit up to the engine, right? Hand tight should be good. You know, you don't want to over tighten your filter and damage anything. You want to go ahead and get your drain plug after that and fit it up in there. New drain plug gasket not pictured here, but we're going to fit it in there. Just get it on, tightened by hand. We're going to end up using the ratchet anyways, just to make sure it's snug. Once you get your drain plug on by hand, go ahead and use your ratchet or your wrench to get it down a little bit more. You don't need to be super crazy, just a little extra push to make sure that the oil doesn't leak. You don't need to prove your strength or anything like that. That's how people ruin oil pans, and that can be an expensive job. So nice and snug so it doesn't leak is good. Wipe it down, get that drain plug and the oil filter cleaned up so we could take a short break from this hard work. I hope you enjoyed that short break so we can get back to work and now add some oil using a funnel. You're going to want to hold it in place on these engines. There's a little baffle in there that makes it hard to just leave it in there and try to pour. So make sure you're using two hands on this type of engine. Otherwise you might have spills, and we all know how inconvenient and messy that could be. And just slowly pour it in. This vehicle takes about 4.5 quarts. We're going to probably add some and recheck it until we get the right level. Now I'm just grabbing a rag here to catch some oil, putting the cap back on, very important. Want to make sure to seal that up nice and tight by hand, should be good enough. Next we're going to go ahead and reset that oil light on your car. These Toyotas have two ways of doing it. It's either on odometer or trip A. You're going to choose one of them. I think it's trip A for this vehicle. So we're going to click the trip A, turn off the vehicle, press in the button, cycle the key back to accessory. We're not going to start the car. We're going to go ahead and turn that key and watch those dashes go all the way down to 0. There it is. That means we're good to go and your maintenance light has been reset. Go ahead and check start the vehicle after that, just to make sure we could pressurize the system. Now we're going to check our oil on a level surface, pull the dipstick out, wipe it down to get a good baseline test. So we're wiping it down, reinstalling it, seeing where the oil level is. You want to be between those two dots. I think we're just at the top dot there. We're going to wipe it down again and check it a second time just to verify our reading is accurate, and it looks like we're good to go. Make sure you check your oil every time you get gas just to make sure you're good to go.
All right, everyone, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you were able to find value and learn how to do something new. If you have any questions or if there's something that's over your head, don't hesitate to visit us at www.da3automotivespecialties.com. If you haven't had a chance yet, please subscribe to the channel. We have more DIY information or just other car related information that you might find valuable. Also, in case you were wondering, the two acrobats in the video you saw is Chantel Santiago and Alex Garcia, two friends of mine who have some pretty crazy superhuman abilities. I hope you enjoyed the show today and that you join us next week for some fun information that will help you with your automotive needs. Remember, at DA3 Auto, your vehicle makes us family. See you next week.